Some of the key outcomes that came out from the workshop this afternoon particularly highlighted the need for the agriculture sector and the tourism sector to work together, and particularly in the case of government ministries in developing policies, knowing that agriculture and the tourism industry are two key important sectors in the economy in the Pacific. So there's a need to work together in that regard. A lot of studies have highlighted that a lot of food that are used in the tourism industry are imported, and they found that most of the food that have been imported can be grown locally in that regard. So this is where the emphasis coming in, the need for these people to work more closely together. As we can see, as highlighted by SPTO, there's a need to marry these two. And in work in some countries like Samoa, they have really gone ahead, whereas in some countries like Fiji, Solomon Islands, and other countries, they're still trying to find their way. But these are two, big sectors, but there's a need to merge rather than working in silos in that regard. Furthermore, as we can see in the case of the private sector, whether there's a government policy or no government policy, the private sector will move ahead and seize the opportunity that are present. And in this case, we've heard examples from the respective private sector operating in different countries on what they are doing and the opportunities there is in terms of agritourism in that regard. The other thing that we've seen, that while we are concentrating on agritourism, one of the sectors that is neglected is the coastal fisheries. We are surrounded by sea. We have, the sea is much more than in terms of the land in that regard. And the sad thing is that there's not much development in that regard. Yes, we have fisheries ministries and all of that, but those that operate, these businesses, they find that they are being neglected. There's need that we need to support them, and there's a lot of women that are involved in this sector, likewise the youth. And so obviously here in the Pacific, we need to up the support in that regard. Also, another thing that we've learned, and I hope that there is a takeaway from the Pacific Week of Agriculture, that there are a lot of technical agencies, likewise regional organization and development partners that work within the region to assist businesses in that regard. So we've heard from this session that IFED is very much interested to assist our coastal fisheries community, but they don't receive any call or uptake from the Pacific in that regard. So we are calling that there is a need to focus the attention to our coastal fisheries, and they need their capacity to be built up, just like that they are doing for the agriculture sector.